I swear, dude, someone needs to beat me over the head with a fucking hammer to make sure that I press that record button every single time that I go live. I remember like 30 minutes into streaming, and something crazy is gonna happen in the first 30 minutes of me streaming one time, and I'm gonna hate myself, but that's gonna be the price that I'm gonna have to pay to be able to remember to do it. Like, my mirror drop that I ever get, right? I've played this game for like 10,000 hours now, and no mirror. And I mean, that's not rare. I mean, that's not rare to hear, you know, most people don't find a mirror. But I've played this game since open beta, and it's gonna be when I'm not recording. Like, it's gonna be like in like the 5 minutes that I'm not recording, and I'm gonna have to take a shitty version of the clip from Twitch. I'm gonna cry about it. And then I'm gonna remember that I have a mirror, and then it's gonna be like those rich people that complain about how, you know, like, oh man, I only have a Lexus instead of a Lamborghini. It's like, dude, fuck off. Haha, I'm so sorry that you have a mirror and you didn't get your internet points. Dude, I've only got this shitty Lexus, man. I don't have a Lamborghini.
I believe in traveling.
Where's my Lamborghini at? Feels bad, man. I was only able to buy 2 cars this year. Just get money. Easy. Dude, just don't be poor. Easy. Jinsai and I had a conversation about that the other day when we were like bullshitting and playing PoE. It's hilarious, the like, what's the word? It's something dissonance is the word that I'm thinking of. Like mental something like that. I don't remember. Cognitive dissonance that some people have when it comes to topics like that, where it's like they were born and grew up in such a positive and money-filled lifestyle that they have no idea what it means to be poor, right? I mean, so when I was younger, I had this friend who lived on a golf course in PGA, and I was like, my house was okay, right? Like, I didn't have a bad house by any means. I was not poor by any means at that time. It was when I was living with my mother. I lived in an okay house, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then I had this friend, right, from school, and he's like, hey, you should come over to my house sometime. And I was like, okay. He's one of those people that was like really super arrogant, but also kind of a nice person at the same time. So I went over to his house, right, and my grandma drops me off, and we pull up to it, and she's like, what is this? And I like look at the house, and it's like a 4-story mansion that's like, the house itself is just bigger than my entire yard, right? And this dude there's like 8 cars in the garage. He lives on a golf course, and we go inside of his house, and he has a maid that just lives there, and I'm just like, so this is what it feels like to be on the other side, huh? And he's like talking to his maid, he's like, hey, can you make us some food? And she's like, yes, of course, honey. And she fucking makes us some nice-ass food. Dude, that stuff was great. That food was awesome. And then he goes and he gets on his computer, which is a monstrous computer, like, this is back when the average person didn't just have a computer, right? Like, they didn't just have a nice computer. It was like a choice that you had to make. Like, laptops weren't super popular then. Like, gaming laptops weren't, like, even a choice, really, at that point. You know, you played with what you had back in the day. And he gets on his fucking computer, and, like, I've never seen... Because we played games online together, yeah? And I had never seen like 100 FPS on high settings on pretty much any game at that point in my life, right? Because my parents like didn't believe in fucking computers and shit, and they're just like, you don't need a good computer, you know, do with what you've got, you know, get outside. And I'm like, fuck that. So I had never seen high FPS and like good graphics in my entire life up to that point, and that was the day that I was corrupted. And I spent all of my time and money trying to invest in getting a computer and getting, you know, like, the ability to play games that looked nice. That's where it began, boys. That's how they get you. They get you started on it, dude. They just give you that, the first hit's free, boy. They give you that first hit, and then you're hooked for life. Computer gaming is no joke, man. It was definitely an eye-opening experience for me, because at that point I still, you know, I was playing like Diablo, and I was playing WoW with like low graphics and stuff like that, and I was like, oh yeah, computer games are awesome, because let's face it, back then even a computer game with low graphics still looked like God compared to a lot of console games at that time, yeah? So I thought I was like hot shit with my fucking basic ass computer from wherever, Staples or some shit. But that was the day that my eyes were forcibly opened, and I could never go back into the warm womb of ignorance ever again. That was the day that my wallet permanently shrunk 3 sizes. That compact PC, hell yeah, boy. I remember the first actual PC that I ever like bought, right? And I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't build my own at the time. I just got like a pre-built one, right? And it wasn't amazing or anything, but I just got my first pre-built computer, and it was okay. I spent like 800 bucks on it, because that was all the money I had at the time. But I loved that computer, dude, because it was like my first like real computer with like an actual graphics card. God, I loved that computer, but something happened to it. I don't remember what it was, but I think my current girlfriend at the time, I was like staying at her house, right? And I came home one day and my computer was just off, right? Like completely off. And normally my computer is never completely off, it's in sleep mode. Came home that day and I like looked at my computer and it smelled weird, right? Not like burning, it smelled like chemically, right? So I open it up and I look in the bottom of it, and it's just got this weird sticky stuff all in the bottom of the computer case. I still don't know what it was. It looked like Febreze or some shit, right? Like it was just like this sticky, weird, like clear substance just filled the bottom of my computer. And my room, no one ever went in my room where my computer was. So to this day, I still don't know what happened because I wasn't home. No one was there. And I asked and no one knew anything, but there was just this big giant amount of just weird sticky fluid, like sticky clear fluid in the bottom of my computer. And that really sucked because I didn't have any money at that time, so I just did not have a computer at all. Those were tough times, boys. Couldn't do anything, couldn't play WoW. And by the time that I got a job and paid for, you know, my own first built computer that I bought the parts for and I put together, which was interesting as well. It took me like 2 years from that point to like save up and everything, because that's when I was like just a poor boy with no sympathy. Compact PC with the CRT monitor. I was so astonished when I changed from a CRT monitor, right? Because it's a weird experience changing from it, because the CRT monitors are instant, yeah? Like there's no lag whatsoever on those kinds of monitors just because of the nature of the product, yeah? You switch to these monitors with these like really horrible response times and it feels weird. It looks really nice because CRT monitors, let's face it, don't look nice. They feel very weird. Nowadays it's not as bad because you can get monitors with like 1 millisecond latency times, which is what this one is that I have right now. And it doesn't feel that bad, but I mean like back then, like that was the Wild West, dude. This shit was new, so it was like 10, 15, 30, 40 second latency times. It's like no one cared about that shit. No one knew that it mattered because, you know, they were just starting to make it. No one cared about gamers at that point. Computer parts were almost specifically for like workstations and things. Like games are just an afterthought for most computer part companies. So yeah, I had a laggy ass monitor and I used to complain about it all the time when I was playing like CS 1.6. The good old days. I had more fun in 1.6 than most other times playing Counter-Strike. Like, there was a lot of cool maps and stuff in Source, and I used to really like surfing in Counter-Strike, and there was a lot more and better surf maps and things like that, and just like custom maps in general with Source. Man, I had some fun in 1.6. Yeah, look at my nice hideout, boys. This is the most low-effort hideout that GGG has ever made. I fucking love it.
Begin to unzip your wallet.
Just for you, Chris, because you're one of my favorites.